County Commission to order. We'll start with the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. First on the agenda, 8:45, we've got the 2018 budget hearing. Is there anyone here to talk about the budget? Pros, cons, thoughts? Everybody's running through the door to talk about budget.
I think we did a great job.
Anybody? Any other comments? It was a long process, but got her done again. Anything anybody wants to bring up? Questions?
Just wish I felt a little more secure on the surplus side.
Yeah, I have to agree with that one.
Feel a little uncomfortable. Did we ever get the utilities?
I haven't heard, I don't know.
I don't know if
We
they
did
came
get
in yet.
utilities? Okay.
I think it's in the packet today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That was Northwestern.
That was Northwestern.
That was
Northwestern.
That was just Northwestern.
What?
Why don't just freshen
Oh, we that's our budget. How do the utilities?
Not finished with them yet completely, because I was waiting for the decision. And, but I know there's quite a bit of growth in the utilities.
What was that new, or that?
Otter Tail,
Otter Tail, yeah.
like 6 million in growth there.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I think it was 2.2 million in Northwestern Energy.
So then do we have enough to start paying back the landfill, or?
I don't, like I said, I don't have those numbers together yet.
What do you
Today
mean
I'll
back to the landfill?
get it.
Well,
For what we took for the jail, we didn't know if we should pay that back, if there's a, or can we just roll? Okay. Any other questions?
I mean, you're gonna have to budget for it if you plan to pay it back.
Exactly, we don't have,
that's what I would think.
we don't have enough,
We don't have enough figures yet to know what,
we wouldn't have enough money to pay it.
unless unless we have quite a bit coming from utilities.
No, that'll just help with because with adding the 200,000 to the budget, your surplus was less than $1 million.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what's bothering me.
But we don't have to set it up at that set dollar amount. I mean, we could, as long as we make a payment, we could be lesser of a payment if we decided. I mean, it could be 50,000 or 100, or it doesn't have to be that too.
Has to be in our budget.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily have to budget too.
I would think we should.
Well, make an attempt to start at it is what I'm saying. I'd rather just, you know, if we got a tight year, I think you just adjust your 1 year.
Keep in mind that you need a budget supplement for $445,000 out of your surplus cash this year. I mean, that affects next year's surplus cash too, to finish that project. Because Judy's budget is $444,000 short.
I think we just wait a year before we make a
I think next year
commitment.
sounds like we should probably make an attempt next year.
Even makes me more nervous about our surplus cash.
Yeah.
All right, other questions? Let's go on to Derek Ritchie.
We need to vote on it, don't we?
We have to have a motion, don't we?
Do we-
No.
No, this is
Just
just
a
a hearing.
public hearing.
right?
Just the hearing, oh, okay, all right.
Derek Ritchie, Fair Manager, to discuss fair numbers, reporting, and voucher system.
Come on, everybody.
Morning, Eric.
Well, we're learning less paper, so too many handouts in the past, so we shrunk it all down to one page. Does anybody need a copy of everything else out?
I would like, wait a minute, I think I have it on here, Derek.
Yeah, colored one on page.
Yep.
You got one there?
And that's,
Second page is just up now.
that's all it is just given. Just all one pages, so. Anybody need a copy? I got more?
I don't know what it is with handouts.
We'll get there. All right,
I think one of them drinks this, I'm sorry, I didn't hand it over.
Next, you need one more.
Yeah, we're good.
Good. So basically, it's just an up-down comparison from 16 to 17. Anything highlighted in yellow is an up. Anything in that light salmon, there we go. I'm not very good with colors. Would be down. So a couple things to note is that attendance was up a little over 5% this year from last year. Some of those indicators are the rain came earlier in the week as opposed to later. We saw the increase primarily on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday numbers. Tickets, not including fees, and the reason we do that is because we know that that's 100% where the service fees and the credit cards, there's fee-based attached to that. So cash and check were down, but credit cards were up by a greater total dollar number. Even though the percentage seems to be lower, the total dollar number is up. It's up over 100,000 on credit cards. To that a little further, what you find is that the total ticket sales are up a little over 5.5%, so almost in line with the attendance, which is a pretty good baseline for the fact that that increase came out of the concerts and not just out of the general fairgoers too as well, from a percentage basis. We noticed that the credit card fees went up. What that also tells us is that matches in line with the credit cards purchases going up, which means that people are taking advantage of the convenience, and that's where we get down to those next graphs that you see below. Web tickets were up a little over 22.75%. Box office tickets actually were down, and what that tells us is that people either through the mobile device or through the Facebook app. You'll see the embed tickets, which is the very bottom one, that was up by almost 50%.
What are those?
Those are your Facebook and then the links directly off of our website. So people are using more of the technology and the self-service parts of it. Carries through too. What this tells us is that a lot of the embedded stuff was outpacing the box office and the web sales. So box office sales were down about 5 1/8, and then web sales are down about 2%. The embedded sales were up. Now, when you look at the total number, the week of sales are up about 2.3%. But that means that people were taking it into their own hands, either going through the mobile device, going through the website, or buying them at home. And then below are each of the individual events, and there's 3 baselines that you look at when you start looking at what the real number is for, are they purchasing ahead, are they not, and the GA's week of is what we use for our balancer, and you'll notice that that's down 13%, but the GA's in general are meteoric rises in the same day, single day tickets for both Thursday and Friday. So what that's telling us is if you look at the dollar amounts on the left, there's more substantial growth on the artists that we picked this year for the same day ticket sales. So every one of those categories were up with the exception of Saturday. And the Saturday drop is significantly lower than what we're up on the other 2 days. So that's in a snapshot where we're looking at for tickets this year. So overall, pretty good balanced lineup. You also see that in the 3-day reserved. If you look at the 3-day reserve, we're up almost 40%. That's kind of a telltale sign. That's at a balance of the ticket. We were up 40% on the reserve and only down 1% on the GAs. Now what that tells us is that we had a little those age brackets may be a little bit higher, but we figure we'll moderate for the cameras. So
The week of box office sales, those were the ones out at the fair?
those are out of the fair.
Because the outlets closed, was it
Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah. Outlets close Sunday, and then we turn over to the fair.
Any other questions for Derek?
Your Wednesday night was down pretty significant, is that?
It was. We got a pretty significant rain event, which we think contributed to that.
Sure.
I think we'll give it one more year, and then we'll reevaluate kind of that 4-year swing of do we think it's viable to continue.
Yeah, the carnival was down on Wednesday too,
Yeah.
because of the
Rain.
rain a little bit.
Yeah, we got a little over 2,500 people come out even in the rain, which honestly we were surprised at. So we had a sellout on Tuesday, and we were about 87 shy of a sellout on Monday, which has never happened. So
It seemed like there wasn't quite the push for Wednesday as strong as last year with the churches pre-buying and doing all that too. Does that have something to do with it?
Well, we think name recognition might have played into that a little bit, where, you know, you get Newsboys, you had Mercy Me, those are significantly more well-known artists within even just the mainstream, where now when you start getting into the tier we're at now, it's more niche. Kind of like the pinnacle of that group that everybody just seems to know about, so that's one of the other things we're going to have to reevaluate going forward too.
Any other questions for Derek?
So the carnival overall was down 10 grand? Is that what I'm looking at
Well,
from last year?
that's pre-sales. Total sales, they were up about 4,000, but that's just carnival pre-sale. These are what we physically control and have reporting over. The carnival, we have to take the reports that we're given.
So you say Carnival was up,
Carnival is down pre-sale, but up overall.
and that's not on here?
I don't have that on here yet.
Okay,
That'll be the
I was
full
looking
report.
for it, and that's why I
Yep.
didn't see it, okay.
These are just the reports out of our ticketing systems.
And the attendance count is from the
Attendance counted from the traffic
gate?
counters.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
from the gates.
All right, any other questions on numbers?
You just count vehicles, right, and determine.
Vehicles, and then we use a formula. I'm not sure where the formula came from, but we just use it for historical perspective to get that benchmark.
The clubhouse was down, do you know how substantial it was down, or is it just, is that a hard thing to track?
And I haven't, the reason I know that the grandstand and Centennial is
And you still get the invoices to
Maybe-
calculate hours?
I think maybe
Right.
something's gotta change there too, maybe. That used to be our biggest moneymaker, was the clubhouse.
Someone said we ought to put a small clubhouse out in the camping area with a little concession. I'm sure they go up quite a bit there.
There are some things we could look at improving on this areas.
And that is up for bid this fall. Do you have any do we need to be doing anything for that, or advertising wise, or?
I think maybe let's see what we see for the L1 numbers,
Okay.
but I don't think it would be out of the question to look at that as a possibility of, next week or two.
Okay.
Down, so we had 4 more that we rented, but we had 6 that were not used, that we used kind of periodically for like Good Shepherd when they clean in the morning, and things like that. We did.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
And there was complaint about how many four-wheelers run around in the fairgrounds too.
We do have to take a look at that. We do have some unauthorized 4-wheelers that we did have to stop. They seem to be, I don't want to say frequent flyers, but conversations we've had last year, so looking at how we tighten that down. But,
Are they coming from the campsite?
They are.
That's where the complaint came from me, that they were bringing go-karts and four-wheelers
Some
and
of
whatever.
them campers are quite a ways away.
We
I
have,
know.
We do have staging areas where it gets them go-kart camping track is, and then it'd be a short walk into the area. But it was more on the campground that would be on the west side of the fairgrounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then coming into the interior is where we noticed it.
That's where I heard.
5 or 6. Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
from the west side, they said.
Yeah, where they drove, they drive right through the middle of the crowd too, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Overall or on the numbers? Another good fair. Well, thank you much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Derek.
it.
Thanks, Derek.
Looking forward to the final numbers.
Submit those next week.
Okay, thanks, guys.
As far as what?
Well, I don't know. When he made the appointment.
Oh, Derek, was there anything you needed to address on voucher system? I see that was part of on the agenda.
Oh,
Is there anything you had on that?
It was just in terms of like, if we attach the vouchers to the email, and, you know, because it ends up being where sometimes we'll have to run the originals over, it's kind of redundant work to scan it in and then have to run them over on top of it, especially when we're paying mileage. I mean, last week we had to run out a voucher for 2 pages, and we actually paid like 4 times more than it would have been to just print it out. So I guess, but on the flip side of it, also looking at if auditor has to print it out for everybody, that obviously now increases their workload. So just seeing if we can put a group together to see if we can find a happy medium.
Do we have to be running, which ones are being run here?
Well, in order to get the proper credit on a bill, we have to attach the stub, especially Northwestern, where they've got multiple accounts.
Okay.
And there's a lot of them like that. We just had an instance, which I can't remember which company it was. The fairgrounds, these companies that process these checks, unless they've got that individual stub, they could care less about what it says on the check stub. They don't even look at that check stub. And so recently we had a $1,400 bill for all the departments. It was all given for the $6 payment that was due at the fairgrounds. Everybody else was delinquent. Fairgrounds had this $1,400 credit. We have to send something with the checks.
Mm-hmm.
What we can,
there's also the problems we had with Northwestern Energy last week. We have to know that the voucher matches the documentation put in Square 9. And that's what's taking us so long to verify, because you click on one piece of documentation, you wait for the minute or the 45 seconds to a minute for it to pop up, and then you look at it, then you close that, then you pick up the next one, you click on the next one, you wait your 45 seconds to a minute for that to pop up. It's very time consuming.
But
And
why would we?
you would have to talk to Sheila on that.
Okay. We could save a ton of money on
Oh,
postage and envelopes and checks, and there's so many things we could pay electronically. Still
Yeah.
the same documentation. There's nothing changes except you don't have to go through the time and expenses.
Well, visit with Sheila and
Yeah.
Paul. I mean, I think we should get Square 9 running before we start expanding it.
Good point to bring up. We'll have to keep working on that, see if we can't find a fix, because,
Alright.
yeah, it's kind of silly to
Work in
run
progress.
here when you're already emailing.
Because how often do you
Yeah.
bring your mail up?
Daily.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but if I didn't have to go daily, then I wouldn't have to pay mileage every day. We could do it every 2 days, or it could be printed. PDFs in one voucher, I will concede the point that it would be time consuming, so. That's why I think there might be a happy medium somewhere.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
voucher system, we'll look at that.
Yep, have a
Thank
good
you
day.
much.
Take care.
Next on the agenda, we got John Evenson, discuss a lease agreement for the Richmond Lake Youth Camp. John, are you here?
I doubt that he's coming.
All right.
What the deal was, he is with Northern State University. Our indemnity paragraph on our lease and substituted it with another. And the state's attorney, neither Larry nor Chris were available Friday PM. I told Mr. Evenson they could not use the youth camp September 3rd. And because, if you recall, we had an incident at a youth event at Richmond Lake, and the state would not cover it.
So we have to be safe, yep.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, since he didn't come today, that they're not going to use it the 10th of September either. They're using the Girl Scout camp. And I don't know how we police that, because, you know, but that's why, if you agree with their new terminology, you could approve it for the 10th. But I told them no on the 3rd.
What does the state's attorney think about their new
Yeah, we've seen it.
Haven't seen it.
That
Yeah,
would
we
be-
got
Our leases aren't set up to be
Why
changed.
don't we have him just
That's
peek at the
not-
language?
Not customary to change.
All of a sudden, they claim, well, that person didn't have authority to sign.
Maybe while you're looking through it, we'll go through Max's list, and you can see if there's a reason why they changed the verbiage on there.
Okay, minutes, joint, city, county, and general from August 29.
Everybody get the minutes?
Move.
Moved by Sutton, seconded by Fishbeck. Any additions or corrections to those? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, and we got claims and payroll.
Move.
Moved by Feldheim,
Second.
seconded by Sutton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion
I
carries.
usually put Doug,
Oh,
Doug and Tom.
okay. The HR report.
Can we hold off on that until after our
Work session.
work session?
The special malt beverage with the wine.
Move it.
Moved by Fishbeck,
Second.
seconded by Hanson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, there's one special malt authorized advertising. This is for Spurs.
Move.
Moved by Hanson,
Second.
seconded by Feldheim. Any questions on that one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Fair contract.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Feldheim, seconded by Sutton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Motion to deny request for Northwestern Energy discretionary on the centrally assessed utility.
This would be the fourth year. Year one was the 20%, year two the 40%, year three the 60%, and year four this is the 80%, and you've denied the 20, 40, 60.
Move it.
Moved by
Deny.
Fishbeck to deny,
Second.
seconded by Sutton. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
To talk to us about it, or?
No, he stopped and signed and didn't stay, and I reminded them, when the monster truck event came to town, when I saw the first ad, I thought, oh, we need to do that, and that's as far as it went. We do not have the special permission for the monster truck, but I emailed them this morning, and even though it's after the fact, there should be something on file, and then they need to pay the $1,500 for that.
And they,
Put some out on that, or how much a year they pay?
How much they pay is on that.
Twice, two payments of $76.60.
Yeah,
So it's
and then it's an extra $1,500 for the monster truck.
So, can we
And
approve
they're,
this base that they pay that?
what?
I mean, when they agree to pay that?
Yeah, oh yes, definitely.
Okay, okay.
Yes, Scott, when he was at the counter, he says, oh, we forgot to, and apologized and says we'll get that right away. So it'll probably be here next week.
Fishback, and then do we have anything in the contract to address when dates are not? That they were going to do events and then they ended up not doing events, and then we could have booked it for other events and we didn't get the opportunity. Is there anything that addresses, doesn't we have that contract?
Should be on your shared drive.
That one wasn't.
It is, now it is.
It says
Okay.
unless
It
we
wasn't
must submit
earlier.
a calendar of racing events to the Brown County Commission not to exceed 25 days of racing per year by January 15th.
It was in there.
Maybe we want to not mess with the contract at this point since it's into the
It-
4
as
years.
long
So
as they
last year
signed
on
it.
it, or
We can address it
No.
in
Yeah, one more
January.
year after this.
We can address it in January when they get us the schedule, tell them that they'll be penalized if they cancel any of those because we potentially can lose out on revenue for those days they cancel.
Then they're gonna want a reduction in the contract says 25 days. Right?
Well,
Lease the track to someone else.
It's not so much canceling a date, but canceling a date and then wanting a different new date to cover their 25. I mean, if they took 25 days and then canceled all of them, we'll still take their money. And all the other days you can lease, not knowing what days are open is the problem.
Right.
And so that probably should be addressed in some way.
So should we wait on the contract then?
Can we do that in January when they submit their schedule? Can we address it?
I think you could have those.
Okay, any other questions? We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Okay, what's your opinion on the lease?
Well, here's the deal on this. Basically, they disclaim any responsibility for anything that happens when they use our facility, no matter how negligent they might be. They simply say they may not indemnify or hold Brown County harmless against any claims, and nothing in this agreement shall be construed as
Yeah. and we don't
so.
want that.
That's, to me, that doesn't seem like a very good position for the county to be in.
Good catch, Matt.
So do we need a motion to deny it, or do you just?
Yeah, I have a motion to deny it, and then I'll call him and say they cannot use the youth camp.
Move it.
Camp.
Only
Moved by
under our
Feldheim,
terms.
Second.
second by Sutton. Any questions on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Can we say that if they agree to sign the original contract without that they could
You can
use
let
it?
them know that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the 10th.
But it won't have commission approval because the
Well, that's what I was
tenth is
gonna say,
the
can we say, can the commissioners say that if they'll sign the contract the way it's written, that they can use
I think
it
we
for
could
10?
indicate that, but it wouldn't be
Okay.
the first time we did it retroactively, I guess.
Okay.
We were a lot
And I
better
don't-
than we were a few years ago.
And I don't think they're gonna do that based on,
I don't think
No.
so either.
That's why they sent their law.
Anything else on your
Fool me
list?
once deal, huh?
Okay, did you want to do anything from your list before we go into the last item there?
Let's go ahead and do that first.
Okay, next on the agenda, the commission work session on labor contracts. We're gonna go into executive session for this, if I can get a motion.
so moved.
Moved by
Second.
Sutton, seconded by Hanson, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
No, it's early. Can we take a 2-minute break? please?
We're gonna.
All right, we are back, no action as a result of executive session. Did you have anything else, Larry?
That's all I have.
Anything from the commissioners in attendance today? Larry?
Nothing.
Adam, Shannon? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it, wait for the-
Moved by Fishback to adjourn,
Second.
second by Feldheim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Be adjourned till next